Yo, welcome back everybody to a brand new video here on the second channel. We got some brand new cards that were revealed that are going to be featured in our Crimson Haze set, including a brand new ACE SPEC card that is looking actually pretty interesting. It's a reprint sort of an old card from back in the day that I'm excited to take a look at and talk about. We do have some brand new cards here in bits and pieces. Unfortunately, we haven't had a huge reveal like we did with the Unfair Stamp Blood Moon, so hopefully we get that at some point because we've been getting all these reveals in bits and pieces, so it's a bit of a shorter update news video for some cards, but they're all going to be featured in the Crimson Haze set or in our Twilight Masquerade set. That will be in Japan. And again, we got a brand new ACE SPEC here to look at. ACE SPEC's obviously really important to talk about and see what they're all about. I'll leave a link down below to PokeBeach so you can go check out some of these cards for yourself. And if you're new to the channel, make sure to subscribe down below. We are on the road to 12,000 subs. We'd be greatly appreciated. And if you want to enjoy the video, leave a like and all that good stuff. Without further ado, let's get into it. So, starting off, we have a new Farafrig here. And it's actually not a bad card. Or Frafrig, whatever, however you pronounce it. I don't know. It's a tongue twister. But it actually does have the attack mid-rumble. Now, despite having mid in the name, it is not a mid attack at all. It does do 40 damage for each stage 1 Pokemon you have in play. So let's, theoretically say here, you got your active 40, and then you got your 5-bench Pokemon. So you got 40, 80, 120, 160, 200, 240 damage. Not bad at all. 240 for a double turbo is nice. Now, your entire board has to be stage 1 Pokemon. It's kind of like Torterra, where it's like your entire board needs to be evolutions. But for a double turbo, you can do 220 damage. Play Vitality Band, play Defiance Band, and you're hitting the numbers you want to hit on those big basic EXs, and thankfully there are some decent stage 1 Pokemon you could play this card with. Obviously, you could pair it with Bibarel/Kirlia for your draw engine, and then you can play something like Scizor, Cleaver in the deck for backup. This card also works with Reversal Energy, so you can play Reversal Energy to do 240 damage if you're behind in prizes. Now, it's specifically stage 1 Pokemon, so you can't really play it with stuff like Luxray and stuff, but honestly, this could be the new Zorobox in a way. Okay, not the same thing as Zorobox, but the new age of Zorobox could be to play this with Scizor, Cleaver, and other type Pokemon like Low Kick/Scovillain, and maybe you want to play a Lightning Stage 1 like Jolteon in the deck or Raichu. So yeah, this could be an interesting, Reversal Energy archetype, and with Double Turbo, you can hit some pretty good numbers. I mean, Slowbro still in the format as a Stage 1 Pokemon. Yeah, this Frafrig actually isn't bad at all. I'm actually kind of excited to try this card out. I don't even know if I'm saying his name right. I apologize. I don't want to bother with that. It's too, I don't know, it just hurts my brain looking at this card's name. But not a bad card at all, despite having the word mid in the name. We got a new Ariados here. Pretty much just a worse version of Spidops. It's got that ability. Your opponent's active evolution Pokemon's retreat cost is 1 colorless more. I know it doesn't say it on PokeBeach, but it does say 1 right there in the name. And then it's got String Bind doing 10 plus 30 more damage for each retreat in your opponent's active retreat cost. So it's it's okay. It's literally just a worse Spidops. It only works on evolution Pokemon. It's not bad when you're playing against Charizard EX and stuff, but Spidops is just better. The only benefit you get out of Ariados is it's a 1-prizer, so in a situation where you don't want Spidops in play, it is better to have Ariados, but it's only on evolution Pokemon. So overall, this Ariados isn't the greatest card ever. It's just a worse version of Spidops. The true Spider reigns supreme in Spidops, so just kind of a mid card overall. But now it's time to talk about the new ACE SPEC card, the big card here to talk about. This card is an interesting card. It's a reprint of Focus Sash all the way back from the set Furious Fist. It's got that effect where it is a tool card. If the Pokemon this card is attached to has full HP and would be knocked out by damage from an attack from your opponent's Pokemon, that Pokemon is not KO'd, and its remaining HP becomes 10 instead, and then you discard this card. So like I said, this gives you a free turn of invincibility, essentially, which is kind of cool. Now, this is literally like Focus Sash. Focus Sash was a card from Furious Fist, which only worked on fighting Pokemon, and that card did see a lot of play back in the day with cards like Lucario GX. It was actually a playable card. So Focus Sash was a decent card, and this card is Focus Sash, but for any Pokemon. Now, this card, in my opinion, it's okay. I don't know how well it'll rival Prime Catcher, Unfair Stamp, Maximum Belt, even stuff like Reboot Pod. There are decks that realistically could play this. I don't know what decks would, though. Now, being able to, be invincible for a turn and survive the turn is pretty good. There is one thing that does also hold this card back, and that's ultimately Lost Vacuum. If your opponent literally plays a Lost Vacuum on this card, this is literally just a waste of a space. At least with Maximum Belt, you get to play it on your turn and get value out of it on your turn. This card is solely reliant on your opponent not running any copies of Lost Vacuum. Now, I could see this card being decent when Lost Vacuum does rotate out of the format. So there is a world where maybe this card is good when we lose Lost Vacuum. I think when it comes out in May, I don't know how playable it will be. There is one deck that this card could be good in, though, that I think some people have talked about already, and that's Control. This card could work in Control. You can put this on your Rotom, your Snorlax. If they don't vacuum it off, they can't get knocked out. Is it better than playing Hero Cape, though, is going to be the question. This card could be good in other decks, too. I mean, it could be good with big basic EX Pokemon that are easy to one-shot, because one of the big issues with big basics is big basics are really cool, they're really strong, but stuff like Charizard just kind of blow you up in the late game. But maybe having this tool on will help against Charizard, so you can put this on like your Shempow, your Miraidon, your Roaring Moon, just any Pokemon that, you want to just two-shot something with or one-shot and then can't get killed back in return because the Survival Cast is on, could be pretty good. So if you're playing against Charizard, you can put this on your Shempow, and then your Shempow can't get one-shot by Charizard. Now, this card is played around. Obviously, again, you can run Lost Vacuum to get rid of it, and you can even just, set up damage early on in the game to break the effect of it, because your Pokemon has to have full HP in order for this card to work. If that Pokemon even has 10 damage counters on it, this card does not work at all. So it is a bit of a flawed card, in my opinion. I think this card could age better down the road when we lose Lost Vacuum. But for now, I think it's just kind of mid. I think the best deck that can play it is Control. The invincibility is nice. And again, I think this card does have value. There's a lot of really cool cards you could pair this with. I mean, yeah, I've even heard talks of playing this with Gudra V-Star. So you have both Moisture Star and this card on, because this card does last until the effect pops. Like, this card does stay on until the effect actually ends up being used. So honestly, not the worst ACE spec ever. I thought it wasn't great when I first saw it, but I don't know. Upon looking at it more and kind of considering the options, this card isn't terrible. I don't think it'll be great right off the bat, because just there are better ACE specs out there. I even think Hero's Cape is going to be more playable than this card off the rip, but definitely not a bad card at all. And again, when we do lose Lost Vacuum, I could see this card getting better. There's one thing I did want to talk about too. And that is, Stellar is coming to the TCG. A bit of a news update here. So the Stellar type will be coming to the TCG. We can now confirm the upcoming Stellar Miracle set will release on July 19th. And we are going to be getting a brand new EX in there. But the big thing with this, obviously, is that this is most likely going to be our August set. This is going to be the summer set. I think, yeah, because it's coming out in July. So this is going to be the August set for us. But according to the official sell sheet, it will introduce the new Stellar Terra type. Now, we already know Terra types are, different types for that Pokemon, like Charizard and Garchomp. You see Garchomp's water, Charizard's a dark, instead of, usually fire or dragon / fighting. And that's really interesting. Terra Pokemon could be printed as Stellar type instead of an alternative type, thus introducing a brand new type to the TCG, or they're going to have their own benefits. So that's going to be interesting. So I'm definitely interested to see that. We're apparently also going to be getting a Sylveon EX and a Ceruledge EX, which is also going to be kind of cool. So I'm a big fan of Sylveon. Sylveon VMAX, one of my favorite cards from the Evolving Sky set. Yeah, cool that they're giving us a new Sylveon. Hopefully it's playable. Sylveon stands rise up. But that'll be it for me on today's video. Let me know what you think of the brand new cards down below. I think the Grafrai, Frigoraph, whatever you pronounce it, is pretty good. And I do really like the Survival Cast at some point. When we lose Vacuum, this card could end up being a little bit better. I mean, we'll have to see what other cards come out. Maybe this card will be good. You never know. But yeah, let me know what you think of the new cards down below. I'll leave a link to Pokebeach if you want to go check out the site and read these cards for yourself. That'll be for me. Hopefully you enjoyed. And yeah, I'll catch y'all later. Bye-bye.